Hi everyone, I'm glad I'm here to share you with my research project. My research project is to investigate how gender differences influence language styles in cooperation. Considering the time and space limits, I choose to complete this research inside WKU campus. After listening to my presentation, I hope you could find something interesting and also give you some enlightenment on looking at the gender issues. My presentation would be basically divided into these four parts: introduction, literature review, results and discussion, and conclusion. So let's start with the introduction part. There are several reasons why I chose this topic. With the development of cross-cultural communication, social linguistics, and pragmatics, gender is becoming an essential research project in many fields. As college students, teamwork is a common activity in campus life, and the gender composition of the group members may affect the operation of group projects. Therefore, observing the differences of language styles between males and females in cooperation may help students choose their partners more effectively to improve work efficiency and self-confidence. Generally speaking, in terms of verbal communication, males often show a dominant style which is characterized by courage, decisiveness, directness, and independence in language, while females usually show gentleness, reserve, intimacy, and indirectness in language styles. My study managed to verify whether the influence of gender in language use in modern society still meets the social expectations that mentioned before by investigating the language styles displayed by male and female WKU students during cooperation. My research questions mainly consist of these two. What are the characteristics of male and female language styles in cooperation? Do males and females language styles change compared to the previous research findings? Now, before we start our own project, let's first see how past researches can help us. Language styles can be defined as the choice of words used by a specific group of people when speaking in a certain place or condition, which is an essential construction in the field of social linguistic evaluation. Gender is able to affect language styles from many aspects, including social status, cultural background, and other factors. According to some previous researches, women are described as more expressive, tentative, and polite in conversations, while men usually perform more assertive and powerful. This phenomenon may associate to the history that women had a very low status and usually existed as the accessory of male in the past. Besides, researchers Montaigne also pointed out that males are less accurate and sensitive than females in perceiving the facial expressions and emotions, which is also a reason why women behave more reserved. However, some researchers began to argue that women now have occupied more and more important positions in the workplace and other social fields, just as Mahendra and others proposed that the woman's right of discourse was getting enhanced, and the previous notion that women were usually subordinate to men in communication to some extent was also proved incorrect. For my own research, I mainly adopted the methodology of ensuing questionnaires, and a 5-point attitude Likert scale is used as a measurement. As you know, the higher the score, the better performance the participants will have. Now let's see what we can find through the data analysis. First of all, I deliberately control the proportion of participants. The proportion of male and female participants was basically unequal, with 33 males and 34 females. Then from the data that we got, most of the male participants scored very high on questions that measuring executive function, judgment, and leadership. In other words, most of the male participants' language styles prefer positive, direct, and decisive in group cooperation. However, through data analysis, it is surprising to find that many female participants also perform really well on these questions, which means some female participants began to show certain male characteristics and paid more attention to their all-around development. In addition, female participants also do better on questions regarding of emotional perception. That is question 11 in my questionnaire. Using tentative language, that is question 10. Using questioning statement, that is question 8. Maintaining group relationships, that is question 7. That is to say, females' language style still performs more reserved and intimate than male. However, through observing from the above data, it can be seen that female participants do not score particularly high on these questions, indicating that the language style of many female participants is moving closer to the forthright and decisive language style of the male group. Finally, for the last 4 questions that were designed to test the participants' preference of working with the opposite sex, male and female participants show very different attitudes. Interestingly, male participants show higher interest in working with female students, but the results of female participants show that they are resistant to work with male students. This phenomenon could be attributed to the prejudice that a woman's work ability was considered negatively in the past. So many females want to prove that they can finish the work independently and achieve the final success without relying on male. Finally, in conclusion, after analyzing the data, I could make several conclusions as above. On the one hand, just as the previous researchers described, male displays consistent direct language styles when doing teamwork, while female is more like the lubricant during cooperative work because their language style is more conservative and reserved. However, in the new era, females' right of discourse is clearly increasing, and female is able to act as a leader in team tasks now. When maintaining a harmonious team relationship, female is also accustomed to express their ideas freely and directly at the same time. Surprisingly, women are becoming more confident in their working ability and are trying to get rid of the prejudice that society placed on them in the past. Finally, it is worth mentioning that there are still some limitations in my research and some factors that haven't been taken into account either. For example, my research samples are still insufficient because I just got about 70 samples. And second, I do not consider the possible influence of individual personalities. That is to say, some female participants may have the male characteristics as they were born. Their personality is not affected by the gender factors. And third, I just use single research methods instead of multiple research methods. Maybe I should use more research methods in order to make my data more accurate. Okay, now it is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening and thank you for your patience. I hope my presentation could give you some enlightenment on the gender issues. Thank you. Bye.